Hi, this is another Ask Augustin. Today I'm going to talk about whistling E strings. This is a very annoying problem, and one that I've occasionally been asked about in the past, where people ask for advice how do they avoid an E string from whistling. So there are a lot of different factors that affect this, and some of them are actually just about the condition of the instrument. So this is one example where the better care you take of the instrument, the better condition you really keep it in, the more reliably it performs for you. That a whistling E string is often a sign that maybe something isn't set up in an ideal way. So problems like if the violin is not in great condition, if you open seams, old strings, sometimes when strings get old, they start to whistle more. If you have a lot of rosin residue on the strings, that can affect things. If you don't have enough rosin on the bow, then it doesn't speak as well. If you're missing a lot of bow hairs, that's another problem. An E string is more likely to whistle when the bow is on the side than when you're playing with full hair. Basically what it is you are playing the E string and it's starting to ring, but you didn't really catch it properly, and so all you get is a really high overtone, which is the squeak. And this is a problem when it happens, because once the E string is whistling, it's very hard to get it to go back to its actual pitch, to the E. What you often have to do is actually interrupt the sound and restart it. But that can kind of call attention to the whistle. That when the E string is whistling and then you kind of have to rearticulate the notes to actually get it to sound in E, then everyone really notices that it was whistling. So when it does happen to me in a performance, I usually actually put more weight on the other notes of the chord that I'm playing, or just kind of move on, and people don't notice too much that way. I think that when you try to force the issue, sometimes you call more attention to the fact that the E string whistled. If your violin is really prone to whistling, then you could vary the gauge of the E string. There's some thicker and thinner E strings, more and less tension. I actually play on a strong gauge E string, so it does actually, I think, whistle like slightly more than it would with a regular gauge, but I like the sound in general. And so these are all factors that affect it. So a really famous whistling place in the violin repertoire, I think, is the cadenza to the Mendelssohn Concerto, where you have all these chords always with the E string, and I think we've all heard a lot of performances where the E string whistles, and I've had all of these chords whistle at some point, and particularly the first one, because I don't want to play too loud yet, so sometimes I don't want to force it, but sometimes I get a whistle from that. So in this passage, I think the E string can whistle for a variety of reasons. Sometimes because you're not giving the E string clear space to ring. Maybe your fingers are slightly touching sometimes while breaking the chord. The other thing is, as you break the chord, how do you reach the E string? Sometimes maybe you're not catching the string well enough. The trick is actually to maybe give a little more weight while you're breaking, before you reach the E string, not after you start playing the E string. And playing with full hair will make it less likely to whistle than if you're playing. Now, I wish I could demonstrate a whistle, but whistling E strings it's one of those things that when you actually want to get the E string to whistle, I don't know, I'm not sure how to produce it on purpose. It just sometimes happens, and then I will always ask myself, why did it whistle this time? And there are all kinds of reasons. Another actually common reason that I forgot is that the bow has to be straight. So this is one of the first things to check is the bow straight? How did I cross the strings? Like, are all those things okay? And I will usually ask those questions, and then also look if there's something wrong with with the way the violin is set up. Maybe too much rosin, too little rosin on the bow, not enough bow hair left, that's will make it more likely to whistle. Just all those different things that can affect how the bow is gripping the string and getting it to ring. Anything that interferes with that. I hope that's helpful, and I'll see you next time.